Welcome to Overtime the Podcast. Overtime is a podcast dedicated to all things watches, with a soft spot for the micro-brand and affordable range. I'm Praka, and this is my co-host, Justin.
We are two watch tragics based out of Perth, Western Australia. Join us as we chat about new watch releases, share our stories, and give you tips on building your collection.
Whether you're a watch pro or just getting into the hobby, we'll keep you entertained with insights and interviews from the industry, along with our casual conversations.
Let's get started.
So, Justin, how you going, mate?
Hey man, doing pretty good on this Tuesday evening. How about yourself?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. As I was saying before we started recording, just finished washing my dog, and I had lost my glasses, and oh God, I can't see anything without my glasses. So no, all good, no worries. I found my glasses, so the recording can go on, and the show must go on. So I'm good to go.
That's it. Washing the dogs before another few days of rain too.
Yeah, but he's an indoor dog, really. He goes out and gallivants, but yeah, it's all the moisture in the air, and it gets into his paws and it starts stinking up. So yeah, it's just he needs his weekly wash, but I don't know, by fortnightly, maybe every 3 weeks is what we'll actually end up doing. But that's life.
That's it. It's busy.
Yeah, it does get busy. Well, before we kick off with today's episode, as usual, what do you got on your wrist, mate?
Yep, I went with the HZ01. Was out and about sort of today, went into the city and then had some stuff happen. A tower was unbolted from the floor in an act of vandalism and caused a fair whack of damage. So I had to get out, which I was glad I chose the HZ because I ended up in the field.
There you go.
And it was cool. Actually, one of the guys I was out with actually gave me a compliment as well and asked a bit about where it was from, what it is. And I told him the price. He really couldn't believe it. He was also he was wearing a Seiko Coutura. Is that how you say it?
Yep.
Those
Coutura.
Dressy
kinetic type ones.
Kinetic things. Yeah, and it was like gold PVD with a green face. But it was cool that it caught his attention anyway. And I've got that on a Sydney Straps Co. NATO in like olive, khaki, that real fieldy green.
Perfect pairing.
Yeah, that's it. Very, very nice. But what about yourself? What's on wrist?
Well, I just took it off the wrist because I washed my dog, but the entire day I've been wearing my the Universal Geneve reference 54222. I only not because I saw it before again. Yeah, nice little dress.
Vintage and gold.
Vintage, gold, black dial, very
classic
one for today.
Very classy too.
Yeah, 34 mil. My smallest watch by far, but it works.
Yeah, cool. Very nice, very nice.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, let's crack on with today's episode. So today we decided we're going to have a bit of a chat about a couple of things, actually. But the first one we're going to talk about is really more of a learning PSA, a bit of a word of warning, or however you want to spin it. But basically, we're going to be talking about the dangers, or really I should rephrase that, but what to watch out for when you're buying watches online. If you're like me, that's it, a lot of risk. And if you're like me and Justin, I think probably more so me than Justin, like I buy a lot of my watches through forums and online marketplace, Gumtree, you name it. I guess I take the punt, but it is a educated punt, or it is there's levels of risk mitigation that you need to go through, and a bit of a process to try and filter out what's real, what's not. And over the last few years, there's just been scams galore, right?
Oh, the birth of the depth of social media, not so much the depth of it, and how easy it can be to make it look like you're talking to someone. I mean, like everyone knows an elderly family member or friend who's been involved in, or knows someone who's been involved in those easy. What is it? Your package has been missed scams. They look real. They tag links in emails. They use signatures and everything that looks apart. And it's made its way into the watch world. Yeah,
exactly. It was always going to happen. You're talking about objects that cost relatively quite a bit of money, depending even of the affordable end, money's money. And yeah, I mean, really what spurned this chat was unfortunately a forum member in the local Australian sales forums got scammed. And he got scammed out of quite a bit of cash. We're talking about nearly 3,000 US dollars. That's equivalent of just over 4.5K Australian dollars, where he got scammed purchasing, hoping to purchase a two-door Pelagos.
Mm.
And really, obviously this come up and, I shared it with yourself and we were like, poor bugger. But also looking at the interactions and looking at the profile and the person who he got scammed by. And we thought, hey, you know what? There's a lot here that we can basically dissect and say, I don't think, as in here are a bunch of things in here that we think is red flags. And we thought, hey, let's speak to the listeners. And I think, it's an experience thing. Unfortunately, this is a very expensive experience for this bloke.
Yeah, it's an expensive learning curve, isn't it?
100%. And I think, if you do know these tips and can spot them, it's definitely going to help. I mean, before I even get into the red flags, most recently I was looking for a particular watch and I put a want to buy post. A want to buy post, I guess number one, let's just do number one. Number one is when you put a want to buy post on a forum, on a sales forum, you will get contacted by scammers.
100%.
I
Yeah.
guarantee it. Yeah. And it's because it's an easy, there's no photos or anything that they need to post onto a page to get authenticated or verified by an admin or moderator of the page. It's literally, hey, I'm looking at for this watch. They see it, they DM you, they say, yeah, I've got these watches, and yeah, there you go. But yeah, that's number one. I find that my interactions with scam people want to buy posts.
Yeah, look, it's probably if from the scammer's point of view, it's probably the spot to do it, right? You're preying on that lust and stuff.
Correct.
I'm trying to think of the word for it, but
Yeah,
that
you're right. It's lust, yeah.
the want to buy that you've got their interest,
Yes.
And look, in my experience, I've not really done any want to buy posts, but usually this stuff from reading other posts or experiences seems, in particular with want to buys, maybe one of those scenarios where 9 times out of 10 it's a little too good to be true scenario, and they prey on you jumping on that first,
Yep.
we've got the deal, get it to me type thing. They get you in the feels.
Yeah. Yep.
That's
100%.
how it happens.
100%. And you bang on right. Like I was looking for the Grand Seiko that I spoke about. And it was always too good to be true. It was full set, near mint condition. They sent all the photos, and you're like, oh, it looks great. And the price is always great. So it's not unbelievable, like as in, like half, it's not like completely out of the range of what the price would be for the watch, but it's
But
always
it's
in
enough
the
to get you.
exactly,
Yeah.
it's enough to get you. It's always in the lower end, and you go, well, this could be a scam, this couldn't be a scam, this could be, I could be getting a good bargain here. And that's such a draw card, doesn't it? Like
Yeah.
you get driven by the emotion of I want to get a bargain, and you miss the red flags.
Yeah, that's it. You put the blinkers on when you've got that, desire.
Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for. That proud, the desire.
Yes. Yeah. That's number one. But so coming back to this post then, and coming back to sort of red flags around, and we're going to be talking more about, I guess, Facebook marketplace, Facebook sort of forums. Especially in Australia, that's a big vehicle for sales for watch sales. Massive. A lot of dealers even use this. But so the first thing is this watch is listed in America. Sorry, this watch was listed in America, but then two things to look out for is the profile picture
Mhm.
and the banner picture. There usually isn't many. There's usually only one, and also they seem to, or even if there is, all the dates of the uploads of the photos are always around the same. They're never,
Yeah, it's a
you
big hit to make it look like a fake yeah, make it look like a legit profile. And
Yes,
the game has kind of changed on Facebook now as well because of that locked profile
correct.
feature,
Mm.
whereas you only get access to, the banner and the little bubble where the profile picture is. And that has, I mean, I haven't looked in particular, but I know I locked my
Mm.
profile and
Yep.
you can see what it looks like from looking on a different phone.
Yep.
And yeah, it definitely makes it harder to vet or the vetting in that
Yeah.
process.
100%. And the most recent example that I had with the Grand Seiko is, so I had two people reach out to me, and one person said that yes, I have this watch in Queensland, the other side of the country, and you can have it for this much. And I looked at the photo and I looked at the watch. I looked at the photo, I looked at the watch, and I shouldn't, necessarily, I shouldn't judge, but sometimes you go, hang on a minute, this watch is a very dressy piece. This person seems to be more of a tall watch wearing, dive watch wearing person. Is very, are they, that's just,
Mm.
I'm talking about instincts. Yeah, I'm talking about, instinct. If you're looking at a 37 millimeter dress piece, and you got a guy who's clearly, a big bloke, and he's, a strong bloke, and he's like, is he going to be wearing that kind of watch, or is he going to be wearing more of a dive watch, more
Bro,
of a thing? Yeah.
I didn't message you about Mega. It's all good. You
Yeah,
don't have to flatter me.
but no, but seriously, what I mean? You go
I
like,
do, yeah.
you're like, okay, I'm trying to put two and two together. Is this, I mean, that's just one example. That's just a really basic sort of, vetting thing. And secondly, you look at the photos. Okay, so I've started looking at the photos that have been uploaded so they had a bit more than just one photo.
Yep.
It was very clear that they didn't live in where they said they did in Queensland, because
Mm, that's a big red flag.
a lot of their photos was in America. It was American landmarks. And the best thing, guys, I cannot stress about this is I cannot stress enough about this is Google reverse image search.
Yep. You find the top of the list.
That's
Yep.
it. So you grab the photo that you've got, and then you go, if you're using a phone, there's your three dots at the top, or whatever, Android, iOS. I'm sure they all have something similar, and you can go search image in Google, and then you
Yep.
search the image in Google, and you select the whole page, and literally, if that image has been used in the internet anywhere, it's going to come up.
Yep.
And I have found both those watch photos listings that was stolen off Reddit Watch Exchange in the
Yep.
past. So
Yep.
that, yeah,
Times have changed, haven't they? I mean, because do you remember it must have been like, mid COVID era, you
yeah,
would get the big thing was you get the message that the exact same. It's, hey, is this still available? And we all hate those messages because we're all the same. If it's up, it's available. But the next one will be, oh, I'm going to send my auntie, I'm going to send my cousin to come pick it up, pay ID, that type of stuff.
mm,
And I feel like it's evolved
more
quicker than ever.
sophisticated, isn't it?
Yeah, because if you think back, like, I'm 29 and I remember answering the phone at my parents' house to have the scam calls constantly. It's not that long ago that
Mhm.
stuff existed, and now we're dealing with actual image
Yeah,
profile, pretend people opposed to just a voice on the corded phone.
yeah, and
Crazy.
yes, it's getting harder and harder. And to be
Yeah.
fair, like, unless like. So yeah, image, I think that sort of reverse image search is your friend, guys. Use
Mm.
it. Use it. Always search it. And the thing is, that's not 100% foolproof as well.
Yeah. Yep.
You can find stuff that, and I think one of the photos on the background, what do you call it, her border photo, I did a reverse image search, and it was someone else's Facebook profile banner, which is crazy. So you're like, oh my gosh. And then you go, oh, wait,
Mm.
all these photos are stolen from this person, which made sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's obviously one proponent of it, one thing, but also
And
yeah, go.
just while we're speaking on profiles too,
Mm,
if I've done. I mean, I only bought my first watch on a forum that got posted this year. Apart from the beginning of this year, I'd never bought a watch on forum before. I'd never. I think I bought one watch on marketplace locally, and again, using profiles to vet those actual people interactions is very important because, look, looking at me, I wouldn't want myself coming to someone's house and knocking on the door. Like, you don't want to judge people, but it's just you wouldn't invite people.
Instincts.
You shouldn't
Using
invite.
instincts.
Yeah, it is, and you wouldn't want to invite people around your house. Like I'd usually meet them at the local, Woolworths down the road,
Yeah.
supermarket, everywhere else in the world. So you're in a not a safe spot, but you're in a place where other people are. You're in a place with cameras. You're
Yeah.
not inviting a stranger in to look at something in your house. You
Mm.
got no potential of someone knowing your address, especially kids, partner,
Yep.
that type of stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
A
Yeah,
huge importance.
100%. Yeah, I've done the same thing as well,
I
purchasing
mean, here in
stuff,
Perth,
selling stuff. Yeah. Mm.
last year that poor bloke got stabbed in that meetup, not for a watch, but
For a
for
phone,
another
wasn't
thing
it?
on. I think it was an iPhone. Yeah, he got
Yeah.
went to the meetup and invited the person around the house and stabbed in his front door.
Jeez. Yeah. That's wild.
Mental.
That's wild. So yeah, stay safe. That's for
Mm,
the local meetups. And yeah, that's a bit crazy. I guess going back to the forums, I mean, you said, yeah, you just bought your first one this year. I mean, it sounds crazy, but I've been buying stuff off forum sales for the last 4 years, if not more, which is
yeah, and
wild.
I mean, I like the reason I didn't buy off forums is not because I wasn't like scam savvy or anything, but I just could not be bothered. Even if it was to happen to me, I'd be frustrated,
Sure.
and that was the basically the only concern from holding me back. And I think the first watch that I purchased on forum that got sent here was the Ciosa. And
Mm.
even when I bought that, I remember messaging you and be like, "Hey, does this check out?" I
Yep.
needed that second opinion to really, even though it was a bargain of a price, so you wouldn't be missing out on 3.5 grand worth of
Yeah.
money.
Yep.
But that still ran in my head, just like, oh, is it? The guy had people vouching for him, and then I thought, is
Yep.
he thinking the same about me?
Mm.
But
And
yeah,
that's, I mean, that's a perfect segue. And the
yep,
second thing is references,
yep,
references. If you have a combination of first, the watch is too good to be true, or even if it's not quite too good to be true, but it is a very good price, and they
mm,
have no references, just stay away. Just absolutely stay away.
yeah.
And I
Ignore the
think
voice in your head.
exactly.
It's going to tell you that oh, do it. Just it's okay. It'll all work out. But if
No.
they're
Yeah,
the what there will be another watch. Like
exactly.
look at yourself. The chat we had in the car about the
Yeah,
GS.
yeah,
We
yeah.
said let's just hold out, and then here we are a month later with the GS.
Yeah, that's it. So it happens. It can happen. And the thing is, the FOMO, don't let the FOMO take over. Yeah, and yeah, and it's just one of those things. Like, if you let both of that happen, like it's just going to be wild. And with references, don't be afraid to ask for references, because at
Mm,
first for me, I felt like, oh, I'm offending this person because I'm asking them, for their like, what am I accusing them of or whatever like that. But no, just don't think about it like that at all. Think about it as this is a transaction. I need to know that I can verify what,
yep.
you are and your personality. I mean, are you a legitimate person that I can buy off and I'm not going to get scammed? And I did it all the time. And not only that, I ask him for references. It can come in many ways. Many forums have like a reference me, reference you post where people just sort of
Yeah.
type in, hey, looking for references, and people usually vouch for them underneath, and there'll be various different people or whatever. And what you do is sometimes what I've done is I've contacted that person and said, hey, I just
Yep.
want to know what watch did they buy off you? Give me some experiences, blah blah, blah. Or the other way around, like what watch did they sell you? And usually it's detailed, it's specific, you can tell
Mm.
there's definitely okay, references are great. And the thing is, it's hard when it's your first purchase,
I was about
right?
to say this. That's the
Yeah,
interesting thing is you have to
yeah,
start this from somewhere, and that was
exactly.
my first experience selling on a forum. I didn't have a reference except for yourself being able to
Yeah,
drop a comment saying, trust in the seller type thing.
yeah,
But you do have to start somewhere. And when I, sold the Zillos to the gentleman over East or from New Zealand, he's in Australia now. So
yeah,
congrats to him. I think he said he was listening.
yeah. There you go.
Hope you're loving the Zillos. But that was a bit weird for me because he was in another place. So he's in New Zealand. He wasn't he didn't argue me out on price. It was just like, yep, I'll take what you've offered, what you put it up for. And then he also had a second address that I need to set it to in Australia. And that was where I was like, oh, here we go. It's gonna be my
Um,
first proper experience. Lucky enough, he went to the effort of providing references for him, references for the other person, just
yeah,
searching them within that exact forum, and even the Zillows forum as well showed that this guy has done transaction after transaction. And there's people out there. And he took a punt on me too. I had people say that I'd bought stuff off of them, but I'd never sold something to someone. So It was the first time money went the other way, and
Yeah.
he took that punt on me, and it was all good. But you
Mm.
do have to start somewhere.
You do have to start somewhere, and you're right. Like I to be honest, I struggle to recall what was my first sale and what was my first purchase. It's been that long, but yeah,
That
you gotta.
long, 300 to go.
Yeah, exactly. Not that much, but you know what I mean. Like it's been a long time, but it hasn't changed. I still follow the same method in terms of getting references and
Yep.
and all that. All right,
It
next
is
thing. Yeah.
important, not just because of the money, but because you do that let down feeling like I don't know it. I've never been
Yeah.
scammed out of anything really,
Mm.
but yeah, I'm sure it is a
It's
pretty
awful. Be awful.
soul-sucking feeling
Be awful,
because
especially
you've
if
been
it's
tricked.
exactly, and especially if you've saved for this
Hmm.
piece. It means a lot to you, or who knows? You could be someone that has been saving for years, and then you lose it all to someone, and you're not going to get anything back, and it's just an awful feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
So the next thing I wanted to talk about is payment, or how you actually pay, or and online in Australia we've got this system called Pay ID, which is like an instant transfer under, I think is under $1,000,
I
or
believe
yeah.
so. Yeah.
And obviously in our sort of realm in affordable microbrand space, a lot of it sort of falls in that area. And Pay ID is how it works is basically you have your either your mobile phone or your an email address that's linked to your bank account. And if
Hmm.
you send that to someone, they can literally just pop it in there and bang, and the money goes instantly. It's like a wire transfer like you do with a bank account. However, it's instant. It's not 3 days. It's not whatever. As a seller, I love Pay ID because it's instant. And to be honest, even as a buyer, it's just easy because it just goes in, the money goes in there and they go, yep, I got the money, boom, they can sell, they're going to send the watch.
Yeah.
It just makes things a lot smoother and faster. But wire transfers and Pay ID is one of those things where it's, if you get scammed and you lose your money, that's it. It's gone. You have no protection as a buyer.
Hmm.
It's instantaneous. You've sent it, and it says, "Hey, make sure you've checked the details, and it's the right person you're paying, and blah blah." Because once it goes, and that's one of those things that the banks sort of just wash their hands off, and you got to be really sure that the person that you're sending the money to is the person with the
Is the
watch.
person, yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing that I've learned on marketplace and whatnot as well, when PayID becomes an option, is when you receive that number to pay
Mm.
someone, you can match a name up too,
Yes.
which is
Yes.
handy. Some people do have accounts that they have just to sell stuff on
Mm.
forums, which are to be trusted as well until not trusted. Because I had to deal with someone who was called something taco, and I was like, "This is 100% a scam." Ended up not being a scam; it was completely legit. It was
Yeah.
good. So you do have to put some trust, but
Yeah.
it's a good way if you're dealing with someone who's got their actual name and
Mm.
whatnot. You can marry the two up.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, like you're at most, yeah, like my name and yeah, email, it's all linked. So yeah,
Yep,
and I agree. I always check that as well. Every time I
yep.
put a number in and go, okay, cool, this is the person that I'm transferring to. I know, perfect, that's great. Speaking about names, so obviously the other way of paying someone is PayPal. I mean, we know about
Hmm.
PayPal. PayPal is great when you're using it through eBay and things like that, because as a buyer, you have a lot of protection,
Yep.
but you have merchant fees, you have goods and services fees and stuff on top. So a lot of private sales and stuff like this when you buy and watch stuff forums and whatnot, people and I find it's less prevalent in Australia. It's probably
Oh
more the
yeah, yeah,
US and the UK forums that I'm in. I find that people use PayPal more often, and usually it's PayPal friends and family.
yeah.
So friends and family is basically PayPal like a bank transfer. You don't have any fees associated on top, like I think it's like 3% or 5% for goods and services, something like that. But your money is gone. You have no buyer protection if you've
That's
sent
just it.
it.
Yep.
And unfortunately, this person had sent the money through, I believe it was PayPal, and so actually no, it wasn't quite it, but there has been scams like that where people send their money through goods and services, and oh sorry, friends or family, and they just they got no protection at all, which
Yeah.
is a shame. And to be honest, I know sometimes it can be tempting to save 3 or 5% on the sale to, and so I'll just, yeah, let's just go friends and family to try and save 3, 5% or whatever you're paying. But just for that peace of mind, it's not worth it.
No.
just pay a little bit more. Or if that is what's stopping you from buying the watch, maybe you shouldn't buy the watch. So yeah, if that little 5% is all it takes is you to, not
Yep.
buy the watch, then maybe let's reevaluate, save more, and then go again when it's ready. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 100% worth it to step back and maybe disconnect from the situation
Mm.
a bit
Yep. Yeah.
and rethink your decision if that's the case.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, they talk about PayPal, talk about that. So, second thing in PayPal as well that I've seen as a bit of a scam is so their profile will be whatever the name of the profile is, but then the PayPal name is different. That's
Mm,
a red flag, like immediate red
massive,
flag.
yeah.
But you'd be surprised, people get caught out all the time. They look at them and go, "Oh yeah, cool, yeah, I'll send it to you." But it's like, hey, the name doesn't match up the person's profile. That's number one right there. And I
Yeah.
think this person who got done, well, this not only got done, they sent the details of PayPal, which was completely different. And it was also, they said, oh, you can either do this or wire transfer. And wire transfer as well. It was some random business.
Mm.
It's two things that I just immediately like, oh man, like please stay away from. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's the two big ones, right? If it doesn't makes if nothing matches up,
Yeah.
it's not right. And you might get that feeling in your gut, and you are right. That you're not feeling that for no reason.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Just don't let that FOMO and that
Yes.
desire to take over.
100%. 100%. All right. So we talked about payment. We talked about, I guess, the profile. Now let's talk about the watch itself. How do you know whether that person that you're sending money actually has that watch or not? And they just haven't pulled photos from the internet and trying to scam you. First thing we said was obviously do the Google reverse image search and you might be
Mhm.
able to find it. In fact, I once I saw a post, I did a reverse image search and I found the exact same sales post on Reddit. And I actually looked through all their sales posts and all that other person's sales posts and realized, hey, this is actually their Reddit account. So they were
Yeah,
selling it on both accounts. So I was like, okay,
yeah.
fair enough. So it's not always going to be foolproof, but gives you an idea.
But this you're doing your due diligence.
Yes.
It's you're double checking, and that there is your peace of mind going to that next step of the transaction. If you're committing to something, you matched it up. You know it's not a scam.
Yeah.
It's the same person.
Yeah.
Let's move forward.
That's it. So that's one of the things, looking at the photos. And the other thing is asking the the seller, hey, can you please set your watch to, I don't know, 10:57 and the date, if it's a date functioning window, to the 26th and to the, if they are a legitimate seller, they should have absolutely no issues in doing
Yep,
that.
100%.
Um, it's just another step, it's the old, hey, put a newspaper next to you and take a photo and
Mm,
send it to me and say,
yeah,
I know what date and all this stuff, it's just another step of verification. I mean, there are these steps of verifications where people say, hey, you got to write your name, date,
yep.
and AWBSS and handwritten note or whatever the forum is. We have seen faked
Mm,
photoshopped ones before as
yes,
well.
we did, didn't we?
Yeah.
I just
So
remembered that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I've definitely seen Photoshop one. So that's not foolproof. But asking him to set this time to this day and this thing is, or asking for very specific shots, which
Yep.
I have. So that again, I'm going back to the most recent dealings with scammers that I had. This Grand Seiko, I said, hey, this looks like a speck of something or looks like a little dent. Can you zoom in on the eighth and show me the bezel and do this? Can you take a photo from that? Can you also take a photo of the underside of the lugs? One, because I wanted to know the condition of the watch, but
Yep.
two, because I'm trying to suss them out. And they
Mm.
gave me answers like, "Oh, yeah, I'll do that later when I'm back from work," and that was it.
That watch isn't there. Yeah.
Boom, it was gone. But that weeded them out straight away.
Yeah.
They just dropped out of the call, and I mean that's it. They're like, "Ah, okay, well, can't scam this guy. He's asking too many
Yeah. He's onto
questions.
it. Yep.
He's onto it." And the same thing happened with the another guy, and he said, "Yeah, I was like, whereabouts do you live?" And he said, "Oh, yeah, Albany." And Albany is a town in Perth. Oh, sorry,
Yep.
in Western Australia, which is albeit pretty far away from where we are, but really in scheme of things, not that far. So I was like, "Oh, cool, like Albany, like, do you come up to Perth much?" And he said, "Oh, not really." So okay, all right, interesting. Okay, no problems. Fair enough. Some people do, some people don't. And I thought, Albany, Albany, Albany. But he had plenty of photos. So I just
Yeah.
pulled up the photos and reversed image search. I'm like, yep, that's actually Kansas or whatever it was. Or that's
Yeah.
actually, I'm like, this America. Like it's just photos pulled out from
Yeah.
an American person's profile that they're using, and yeah, it was such a clear scam. But I mean,
Yeah.
it is to me now that I know.
Yeah, and then I guess the other side of the fence here is, one of the purchases that I did, it was the complete opposite where I didn't even have to ask for extra photos. It was just, here is everything, because the original post was just like a watch is in good condition. And when I decided to send a message, this was the citizen, and that I can't remember what his name was that I purchased that from,
Mm,
but he was very well known in the forum. But he just went above and beyond to ensure, and that is, it's that
yeah.
reassurance that you need in the purchase, but you're not going to have them all like that, but they do exist.
Yeah, for sure. And I've taken videos
Yep.
of the watch working. I'll pull the crown out, set the time, put it back in, and say, "Yep, here it is, operational, all looking good." I'll pack the watch and I'll take a photo of the watch packed and I'll send it to you. I mean, not everyone
Yep.
does that. Some people do that as well, but
Yep.
those are the kind of steps you're like, okay, like things are coming. Yeah, it's happening. Yeah.
This is a bit off topic, but it's reminding me of because we're doing this in a serious matter. But there's an Instagram account I follow. I can't
Mm.
remember who it is. If I can remember it, I'll put it up. But he makes funny videos on getting people to test marketplace items that are just like a cheese grater or something. Could you please send me a video of the cheese grater working? And these people show all four sides, and this is what I'm matching it up to. But it's we're in a more serious
That's so
aspect.
funny. That's so funny. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh,
It is.
yeah.
There's like deodorant cans. There's the most random stuff that people put up, and he gets them to actually use.
Test it. That's quality. I hope he buys it afterwards
No,
as
I don't
well.
think he does. That's the
Oh, that makes it
yeah.
worse.
It does make it a lot worse for
Uh,
entertainment's sake. It's amazing.
classic. Oh God. Well, all right.
And
We
everybody
got
only talks in voice notes too. It's really funny. He doesn't just text it. He talks in this funny voice. Anyway, it's late. I'm getting distracted.
classic. No, it's all good. It's all good. Well, yeah. So anyway, that's a another sure way of. I mean, there's another way of verifying. There is a third way, but I don't think this is necessarily the best way. This is actually having a video call.
Mm,
Some people aren't, you know, they're not really, they don't want to do it, like, it's a
this is
random
me. Yeah.
person across the road. No, but that, some people don't like putting, calling someone, having their face in the call and speaking to people. That it's not on.
Yeah. This is
And
how I feel about it. I don't want to. I think it's a step too far on my end. I understand
yeah,
why people do it.
sure.
And I also wouldn't be a fan of it. If someone asked me to jump on a video call just to sell a watch in
Yes.
a forum, I'd probably be like, hey, I've got the references, I've got plenty of
Yep.
photos and videos.
Mm.
If you're not cool with that, then we'll
Then
just
it's
move
fine.
on from here.
Yeah. And the thing is, I've had both sides of the coin. I
Yeah.
have had sellers, say, hey, look, I'll call you and show you the thing. I mean, they didn't show me their face. They just showed me the watch, this is the
Mm.
watch. I'm showing you, blah, blah, blah. It's working. You're happy. And it's like, okay, cool, great. And I've had that with two watches that I bought, I think. And it was great. But at the same time, did I necessarily need that? Not really, because I had other
Mm.
means. Like you said, there's other means of doing it too. So maybe don't harass someone for that unless you think they're comfortable for it. And the
Yeah.
thing
Just
is,
be
if
respectful.
be respect, exactly, be respectful.
Yeah.
If you feel like I cannot buy this watch until I see this watch in video, maybe ask a video of the watch being operational or something
Yeah.
and show them just, hey, can you set it to this? And I think that's just another way of verifying it.
Yeah, just repeat. Yeah, some people aren't comfortable doing that sort of stuff,
Correct.
and they're well within their rights to say no. And if you're not happy
Yep.
to move on from that transaction, then work something else out. But just be
Exactly.
respectful.
Yep. For sure. For sure. I guess the
And
next, yeah,
I
go.
was going to say with photos and videos too, who are
Mm.
these people taking videos and photos that are so grainy in 2024? You see so many photos that are so bad, and you're just like, I'm just like, it happened to me recently, and I don't want to say who because I chat to them and whatnot, but there was a watch I was potentially interested in, asked for extra photos, and I could not believe how, I don't know what phone would take that quality. It's literally like they've pulled out like an Instax camera,
Oh no.
taken a blurry wrist shot with the Polaroid, and then
Yeah.
printed the Polaroid and taken a photo of the Polaroid. It was so bad. I was like,
Yeah.
like you had the chat with me as well when I was putting up my first sales to simplify them because
I
I was
did.
putting up
Yeah.
photos that were, trying to make the watch look
Mm.
amazing and it just wasn't working. And it worked as soon as you said it, just nice, simple in the light.
Yeah.
But some of these photos really frustrate me because you're trying to sell the watch. I just want to see that it looks like it is, but I can't
Yeah.
see hairline scratches or dents from a thing that's taken on an image that's only got
Potato.
4 pixels in it.
Yeah, take good photos, guys. Yeah, yeah. For natural light outside,
Yeah.
natural light or reflected natural light is the best, and it's going to
Yep.
show the full condition of the watch. It's going to show it at its best light, or it's if it's full of scratches, then at least it's going to show that it's got scratches in it. So, yes, good point, great point. So yeah, I mean, really, I think all those tips together is going to help you stay safe. I think,
Yeah.
or at least, you know, I think about it this way, like, sometimes in poker, when you're playing a hand and you have a really good hand, you got a really good hand, you got like, I don't know, ace pair or something, and you're like, oh
Hmm.
man, I'm gonna win this. But then you see the cards come out, and then you go, oh, actually, I'm not quite sure, and you keep committing, and then but sometimes you go, and then towards this before the last card comes, but you go, you know what? I know I've committed to him, but I'm going to fold. There's no way I'm going to
Yep.
win. That
Yep.
fold is as good as a win sometimes, and
That's the trust your gut feeling.
that's it.
Trust your
Yeah,
gut. Like we said, if it's too good to be true, it probably is.
yeah,
Do some extra due diligence, do your research. It might be okay,
yeah.
but just trust what you feel about it.
Yeah, and I've been lucky. I've been lucky. Like I've
Mm.
dealt with forums so much. I mean, I bought a watch of Gumtree, and that was probably one of the stupidest things I've ever done in the sense that, and it was like, across the country, grainy photos, no idea the watch is real or not, just literally just, oh man, completely, yeah. I was like, this is bad. And this was like, again, a lot of money for me. And, at the point in time, and it was a birthday gift for myself,
Yep.
it was a lot, it was my Seiko, my vintage Seiko.
Yep.
And I got absolutely lucky. It was perfect. It was awesome. It didn't work quite well when I had to get it, serviced and stuff. But since then, it's been perfect. But that was luck. That was not any due
Yeah.
diligence. That was just luck.
I feel like if you have any success on Gumtree these days, you're doing very well there because I jump. I've got the app on my phone. I look every now and then, and
Yeah.
I just like scroll in Perth. I'm just like, it's just Morley cash converters just putting up watch after watch after watch, and that's it. But yeah, I just haven't even thought about using Gumtree for anything in years. I think I
Nah,
actually
it's
sold my Save the Ocean Turtle on Gumtree
hmm.
because it wasn't moving on Marketplace. I just put it up on there.
Yeah. I think I've had some luck with Seikos as well on Gumtree. I feel like they seem to go
Yeah.
pretty well, Seikos, but not much of the micros or anything like that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I mean, unless you can think up of any other tips and tricks for the listeners, I think
I,
that's a
I
pretty
think
good list, isn't it?
the only other thing is if you're a bit of a potato like me as well, get a second opinion on the situation. Like I look and I do trust my gut, but I have you're there. The 3 times that I've purchased something online, you've always had a quick look for me and just
Yeah.
you've reassured and
Yeah.
we all I think
Look
in
after
the
each other's backs. Yeah.
yeah, that's it. We're all
100%.
in it for the same reason.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, like, if someone who wasn't as sure reached out to myself, I'd have no problem just having a look over.
Yeah.
Again, I'd probably message you like, hey, do you want to double check this for me? But, just, look out for each other, help your friends.
Yeah, 100%. I use, yeah, like Justin just said, I'm always happy to look. I've been around in that particular forum for 5 years or something now, so I've seen many names come through. I'm quite familiar, and I've got, yeah, same thing. I used, a couple of guys, friend of the podcast as well. Same thing. They're super sleuths as well, like
Yeah.
like even more than me. Like, they're like drilled down to like, well, this person actually commented on this person's post on this date, and they're legit. I'm like, man, you're a genius. Yeah, but yeah, thank you. Shout out to Mills. You are. Yeah, but it's, stuff like that. It's like it's cool. But and that's part of this community, isn't it? You
Yeah.
you don't want your mates to get scammed. You don't want your watch friends to get scammed. You look out for each other. Yes,
Yeah. That's it.
for sure. All
Beauty.
right.
Good chat.
Good chat indeed. So that's the first one. And look, if anyone, and I think I've said this before to actually, we had a person who, when we first started the forum, was asking about purchasing vintage Seikos. Do you remember that?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember her name, but anyway, I do recall that
She was from down south here, wasn't
that's it.
she?
Yeah, she was in the,
Yes,
yep, that's
I
it.
think her name was Bianca from memory.
Yeah, so there you go. And I think she shared something or she wanted to share something. And basically, I said, hey, if there is something that you're looking to purchase and you're not really quite sure, ask us.
Yeah,
Whatever, go for it. Send us a message on Instagram and say, hey, I'm looking at this. What do you guys reckon? Obviously, I'm not gonna. It's still at your own risk. Don't, but at the same time, at least you can get a second opinion. Feel free to, especially
yeah,
if you're new to the hobby and you don't really have much watch friends around you. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah. Reach out.
Mm, for sure. All right. Well, we have a second topic that I wanted to touch on as well. Not as long as the first topic, but so this happened. I'm gonna say about 2 weeks ago now. Oh, not even that long. About a week ago. So Lewis Watch Co. Adam Lewis. He is a fantastic watchmaker, actually in the same state as us in Australia,
Mhm.
and he's a local guy, but he's really well respected, and he was a well respected Omega specialist. He uses basically he's a authorized or was a authorized Omega, what do you call it, repair shop, and he was authorized dealer, and he was part of, sorry, not an authorized dealer, but he was part of, a watchmaker that was certified to do
Yeah,
Omega repairs,
accredited. Yeah, he's got the
accredited.
accreditation from Amiga.
Exactly. And he's been for many years, I think for about 10 years actually. He's done some really great work. Like I could be wrong. I mean, I'm not actually, no, I'm sure I have read this that people from overseas send him watches to because they know the caliber of work that he's been doing. I even read in one of the posts that I'm not going to mention names, but a ex Omega slash Swatch, I think you know who I'm talking about, employee mentioned that his quality of work was way better than the watchmakers themselves within Omega, what they used to do. And that's saying something. That's saying something. He's got pride, he did such a good job.
Mm.
Unfortunately, this week or about a week ago, he's got his basically they decided to terminate his agreement with them with a final decision immediate, effectively bang, just gone. He's spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in specialized equipment, for servicing mega
Hmm.
pieces, for repairing mega pieces. He's spent all this money to learn about, and gone through all the independent workshops that they've got. They've got all these programs, to really get, into the mega book, so to speak. And they just ripped it away from him, gone. And this is a trend that's happening in not just here, but it's happened in many places around the world as well. I've read that I think it happened in America as well. Basically, they've stopped giving independent watchmakers the authorization to repair, and they're taking all that repair in-house. I mean, you know how I feel about this, so
Mm.
I want to know from you, like, what do you feel about this?
Yeah, look, it's a weird feeling because I've read a little bit about it now.
Mm,
I know how you feel about it, and I'm in like an indifference where I'm like, in one hand, I'm just like, are we surprised at all at this point?
mm,
We do know what the beast is over there. As the Swatch Group as a whole.
yeah,
Look, not mentioning names, this stuff has been talked about for some time on TikTok and
yep,
Instagram Reels about how the I guess declining care factor outside of the wheelhouse or the of Amiga itself or Swatch Group itself. I guess yeah, it's you, when you think about how much is spent, the time, the effort, and reading comments on Adam's work as well. The I'm having a bad time with words tonight.
yeah,
The people like vouching for his work.
yes, yes,
He's obviously very very good at what he does,
yep.
and 10 years is not a small amount of time to sink into
Mm,
learning, purchasing, and setting up a business around something. Just to have it ripped from you
yep.
all of a sudden, I feel like it's a bit of a blow, not just obviously out of himself, but the watch
Community, right?
community as a whole, not just like
Mm,
in the Perth area where we are, but yeah, as a whole. And I feel like this as sad as it is to say, it's probably the beginning of a bigger picture as well. That'll just continue and continue, and it's probably going to be elsewhere other than just in Omega's
Yep,
space
yep,
too. I mean, yeah, look at the way swatches have been popping up all over the place as well. Like I think, yeah, there's a the writing's on the wall here.
yep,
They want the control of the situation. There's a huge dollar sign
yep.
attached to this as well. If you control where it's serviced and what's done and who says what,
You can
then
charge them
you can
anything.
say what and do what. Yeah, and I mean, look, I think I said this maybe last week, the week before. Yeah, Amiga was on my radar to an extent, but seeing stuff like this, it does affect my purchasing decision. Like,
Mm,
Speedy was definitely on the cards for a 30th, slowly been moving elsewhere, but
mm,
yeah, it does affect that decision. I mean,
mm.
there's not, there's not no support for the independents.
Yep.
Yeah, I just hate that control over having the control over of a monopoly of something.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
deal with it at work. I've had to deal with it a couple of times in the cycle of my 12 years here, and it
Mm,
really frustrates me when all that power is wanted.
yep.
And then the only people who miss out are the ones who matter, which are the customers and the people who are on the ground, as to say, the boots on the ground.
Yep. Yep. For sure. I
Um,
I mean, it's just like you say, it's the writing's sort of been in the wall for a while.
yeah.
And it's really disappointing. I mean, and we know that not only Swatch is opening up, well, opened up in locally, the word of the
Hmm.
street is Omega is also opening a boutique locally, which sort of makes sense, I guess. They're
Yep.
going that direction. And if I recall correctly, Nick Hacko, a very big
Hmm.
Australian watchmaker, who used to service Rolexes and all that, and they got their license taken away from them as well. Again, same thing, and Rolex went all in-house, and there's not many authorized. It's the same pattern. It is very disappointing because I think it's hard enough to have independent watchmakers out there that the one that you can go to get a second opinion. If you bring it to the boutique and they say, yeah, it's going to cost you a grand and a half to get this service. And then you go to a very equally skilled, if not more skilled
More than
watchmaker.
likely more. Yeah.
Yeah. And says, yeah, I can do this for you in this, this, and this. And hey, you want it in the original state? Yeah, no worries. We'll leave your watch in the original state.
I was going to call that. Yeah. How many horror stories do you hear of people who enjoy their patinaed bezel or, actually appreciate that their watch has a scratch or a dent somewhere and they get it replaced without even knowing about it? They just get the bill at the end and the watch returned.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
And
That's heartbreaking stuff.
And who knows? I mean, like, that could be your dad's watch, your
Yep.
mum's watch, your granddad's watch. It could be something sentimental to you that you don't you all you want it is just repaired, and then it comes back with, I don't know, everything's been polished and all that, that one ding that you had when, you I don't know, there's memories, right, attached to
Yeah.
these
There's
things.
attachments to it.
Exactly. And sometimes you just want someone to respect that and go, hey, I just want you to do this and that's it.
Yeah.
But
I
there's
think,
yeah, it's
yeah, I
hard.
think you hit the nail on the head. It's disappointing.
Yep.
It is really disappointing.
Mm.
And yeah, look, it's going to get worse. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It is just going to keep happening.
Yep.
Perth's a small place where there's probably going to be more densely populated areas around the world where this happens on a larger
Mm.
scale or
Yep.
footprint. But yeah, I think with I think even Hardy Brothers is not dealing Omega anymore. I think they were selling
Oh,
everything
that
off.
they got
They
they
got
got
rid of it all.
their
Yep.
well that they got told, right? They hey,
Yeah.
we're not letting you sell Omegas anymore because
Yeah.
we're going to
Because
be
the
selling
boutique's
it now.
coming.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm surprised we've not seen more of that with Tag. Like we've seen some Mazzucchellis
Mm,
pull Tag from the shelves. It's been a couple where I've gone in and be like, oh, there's only Longines and Omega here,
mm,
and sorry, Longines and Tissot.
mm.
But yeah, I guess I think it is going to get worse. But hey, let's
I hope for the best.
appreciate the
Yeah.
micro scene and
Yes.
let's yeah,
That's
wish Adam all the best and hope
yeah.
reading his final comment in this forum chat is I don't know whether to just
Mm,
walk away.
I'll come
I'd
back. Yeah. With
Oh
some
yeah, yeah. I'd hope he finds another avenue
mm,
here, and there is the support behind him.
yeah.
But yeah, it is just disappointing. But again,
Yeah.
I can't say I'd be surprised in reading this
Mm.
at any point in time.
He is a gentleman as well. Like just to add, I met him at the last year the Watch and Clock Forum WA, and I wasn't buying any watches off him or anything like that, but I was just having a chat with him. It's just a general chat, and he's more than happy to have a chat. And I, in fact, bought a couple of cool old Japanese catalogs for Seiko because he had it and he said, hey, yeah,
Yeah,
this
cool.
is not, and it's just something which is, I don't know, had a good chat with him about stuff. And anyway, you don't want to ever see stuff like this happen to anyone, especially someone as nice as Adam. And we wish you all the best.
Yeah.
And I just hope, let it's great if we can have more independent watchmakers. It's good for, I think it's like any industry. You want the independent people to come through so that,
Yeah.
they're not tied down to any brands or anything. They can do stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Cool. All right. Well, that sort of ends our episode today. But before we go, as we do always, we'll do a something interesting section. Dustin, what's your something interesting for today?
Yeah, I had a couple. I'll recommend another show. So I went back and I can't remember how I got onto this, but someone recommended it to me. I think at work, Severance, the movie, the TV series Severance from 2017. Series 2 is on the horizon.
Oh.
It's, I mean, yeah, no, I don't want to spoil anything if you haven't seen it, but very interesting way of looking at a work home life balance. It kind of messes with your head a little bit when you're trying to understand it and get your head around it. But there is a little bit of watch spotting in there as well. Yeah, great show. I'm looking forward to season 2. Second one, I was scrolling Instagram today and took a screenshot that I did meant to send to you,
Mm.
but I didn't because I was caught up today. Namakai mods. So for the modding community that listens, they have dropped a heap of dials, which remind me of Seiko Cocktail Time, but on just steroids. This one that I'm looking at is a Sakura Red dial. It's kind of that machined guilloche attempt or
Mm.
that sort of stuff. Like we've been through this. We're not huge modders. I dabbled very briefly and moved on very quickly from it. But this stuff, yeah, it's cool to see something different out of there because I feel like I'm in a few modding groups just to, I like seeing them. I
Mm.
appreciate them and I just don't wear them. But I feel like you see a lot of, Seiko cases with Marine Master dials or, something. And it's a lot of the same. You see a lot of Seiko Patek Nautilus style
Oh yeah.
PDD
Yeah.
stuff. This sort of stuff is the stuff I really do appreciate
Mm.
in the
Something a
modding
bit
scene.
different. Yeah, nice. So yeah, no,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
Namoki mod style cocktail time style. Cool. Oh well, I'll have to grab that and shove it in the show notes. Awesome.
Yeah, very cool. What about
Nice.
yourself, mate? Take us home.
All right, I will take us home. Well, look, I can't not mention the Olympics that's happening right now.
Yep.
It's awesome. I love the
Oh man,
Olympics.
I love the Olympics, man.
Love
I
watching
fell
it.
asleep with it on. It's so
You do?
good.
Yeah, just watching, the most stuff that you like to watch. Like obviously you like watching swimming, and
Yep.
Australia's a big swimming powerhouse and worldwide. So of course we're going to be watching them, but also just I think I was watching boxing, I was watching fencing, I was watching
The
judo.
fencing's been really cool.
Yeah, yeah. Like judo. I was watching, was it basketball, and I was watching into everything. And it's great because I don't like watching it on the TV channels. I like watching it on the app because then you can
Mm,
go and watch anything
yeah.
that's
No
happening in that
intermissions. You can
time.
just move across.
Yes,
Yep.
and it's great. So I'm just like, oh, I'll watch this now. And skateboarding. God,
Skateboarding was cool. That that
it's
poor
cool.
that poor young Australian girl. I felt so sorry for her when she was on the screen
Ah,
crying.
yeah, yeah,
Heartbreak. You
yeah.
do feel for her, but yeah,
You
she's
do.
there.
Yeah.
She's so young.
Yeah, you're one of the best in the world. I mean, that's why you're there. So yeah, I love it. Love the Olympics. Can't wait for the track and field events. That's the creme de la creme for me. All the
Yeah.
100-meter sprint, 200 meters relay, and just track and field is for me. That's Olympics. But can't wait.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, not to go back to Omega, they're the official
Yes, they are.
timer of the Olympics,
Yeah.
timekeeper of the Olympics. And yeah, I've really enjoyed it so far. I mean, I was having a trip out thought in my head the other day when it started because I was like, Olympics are 4 years apart.
Hmm.
And I was like, I remember holding my daughter, but she was like, I was because her birthday's coming up. And I was just like, I remember her birthday being within the Olympic
Mm,
2 weeks. And I was just like, how is this? And then I remember we did have a postpone, didn't we? And I just like the penny
correct.
dropped. Japan was 2021 opposed to 2020.
Correct. The
And
2020
yeah, it all just
happened in
makes sense.
2021 because of
Yeah.
COVID. So yes, but
Um, I mean, one thing that I'd like to say about Olympics, the cyclists, I mean, like, I don't think I've mentioned it too much. Like I used to do a lot of cycling a few years ago, but
yeah,
due
yeah.
to hip injuries and severe arthritis, that is going to be
Mm.
fixed next year. I had to kind of get rid of that in my
Yep.
life, and that was actually really hard for me to get rid of cycling. It was I really love that.
Mm.
The cyclists who are in the Olympics at the moment, not all of them, but a handful, have just smashed out the Tour de France. They've had like a week break from completing the Tour de France, and Wout van Aert is in there like smashing speed, like time
Yeah.
trial stuff. It is
Straight
so
into it.
wild that they've just they go back to back with that.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, these athletes are just yeah ridiculous, and it
Oh,
is
mental.
awesome. Love watching it. And
Yeah.
so what's the big one here that's coming up? I'm just trying to think. There's I'm really just looking forward to the track and field. I think it's this weekend is all the heats for the 100 meters. That's like yeah, that's my that's the one I'm really looking forward to. So
Yeah, cool. There was actually the women's hockey team goalie. I went to school with Alicia Power. Little fun
there you
fact.
go.
So I think she played in the same team for hockey as my brother did. And I was like we're watching
Ah,
TV at like 8:30 last night. And I was sitting there, I was like, whoa,
I
it's
know
her.
that person.
Who is this? And then like I quickly jumped on Instagram. I'm like, oh my God, she's there.
That's so
But
cool.
I guess, yeah, an update on that too. Japan in first at the moment in the
Yep.
medal count, followed by France, which is cool. China, Australia, South Korea.
Yep.
It actually amazed me at the Olympics, man. I was like flicking through some stuff, and there was just like a person from the Congo playing table tennis. I'm just like, how are you like? Where do you get table tennis in the Congo? Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just crazy. Like, you're champion at this sport, and he was a machine at it. It just that sort of stuff really boggles my mind. Hey,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Australia is a big powerhouse of a sporting
yeah,
nation, but the fact of the matter is Australia has a massive financial backing. Like you got the AIS, you've got, I
yep,
mean, not for every sport. I must take that back. I
yeah,
must be
true,
making it clear.
true.
Some sports are underfunded, definitely, but a lot of sports get good amount of funding and there's good, structure around it. And I guess that creates a good environment for
Yep.
these athletes to flourish. It helps them to get to get even better or basically to to get them up there. But you have other countries which don't. They are literally just individuals that are representing their country that don't have a lot of refunds or
Mm.
resources or Do you remember Eric the Eel? Remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
So it was a Sydney 2000 when, for those
Jeez.
who don't know. So Eric the Eel, look it up. He was, I think, yeah, from Equatorial Guinea. And they had these, so basically they have like wild cards where they give out wild cards to various countries to
Yep.
to join the event. So they're not necessarily like they haven't won the qualifying stuff to come
Mm.
into the Olympics. But they've been wild cards. So I'm pretty sure it's a landlocked country, and he used to, or no, I don't think it was landlocked, but so he didn't know how to swim,
Mm.
but he was an athlete of some sort, but he didn't know how to swim. So he learnt. So the fishermen helped him, local fishermen helped him sort of, to get in the water and get used to it. And then he used to train laps in a apartment complex swimming pool.
Yeah.
That was his training for, I think he had 8 months to learn how to swim. So we're not talking about training. We're talking about literally someone
Yeah.
learning how to swim and going in the Olympics. And if everyone knows the story, there was three people in his heat or in his in his race, and he yeah, there was I think out of the three, two people had false starts, so they got disqualified. So it was just him.
It
So
was meant to be, wasn't
it was
it?
meant to be. He was going to win it, and he did. And the whole stadium was cheering for him, no matter what country they were from.
What a
And
feeling, hey?
and I think it's the slowest win ever
Yep.
in recorded Olympic history. But you know what? He did it, and it just that I mean that's the Olympics for me. Like just
100%. Yeah.
perseverance. Obviously you got the best of the best, but you got people that are like just giving it a go and representing their country, and it's just awesome to see.
Yeah. And I do like see, you listen to the commentary, you do like hearing those stories of like, this country's never won a medal and they're in
Yes.
contention. And it kind of gives you that little bit more skin in the game, no matter what.
Yeah.
I think watching handball, women's handball last night, they were talking about a team that hadn't never, I think it's their first year register or qualifying a team for it. And,
Yeah.
they're in medal contention, and you do feel for them.
Yeah.
One thing I did really enjoy with the opening ceremony as well. I actually didn't see it. I seen it on afterwards, so
Sure.
I didn't know this happening. a French metal band that I listened to, Gojira.
Would you rather heard
They
about that?
played on this castle, and it was like the most metal thing ever. They're like standing like multiple stories up, just like headbanging. The drum kit's crammed on this tiny little balcony, and he's just going absolutely mental. It's really cool, but it's cool they let they let that kind of French metal scene get a nod at
Yeah,
the Olympics.
that's awesome.
One last thing on the Olympics too. I recommended a movie maybe a couple of months ago now called Under Paris, which is a shark movie
Yeah, I
based in
remember
the
that.
Seine.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not sure if you've seen the news reporter hop out of the water, and she was like covered in this. They were trying to make a point. They were like, this is healthy to swim in. And this is a week ago from today. She hopped out of the water. She had this like grey sludge on it. Like, you get out of the pool and water runs down your skin. This was like a grey sludge. And she was like, it's just coloured water. And then, what happened today? They closed there. They postponed men's relay swimming events because of over pollution levels in the water.
Oh, wow.
So you feel for the swimmers that have been in there already, swimming. Like what justifies over pollution today opposed to tomorrow or the day before? I don't feel great about that, but
No.
I don't know. It's been awesome. Like, and my kids have been loving it too. So I've really enjoyed spending time watching sports with them.
Yeah, it's equally same. All right. Well, look, great chat. We're at the end of the episode now, and as usual, guys, reach out. Yeah, if you got anything you want to chat about, especially today's topic, if you need a hand in checking out some potential stuff.
Gonna say, if you need a backup, like, we will be happy to vet where we can.
Yeah, exactly. We'll help out where we can. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, let's wrap it up.
Thanks, mate. Take care.
See ya. Bye.
Thank you for joining us on Overtime the Podcast. We hope you've enjoyed the episode.
You can find us on our Instagrams at Overtime the Podcast, at Kinda Average Watches, and at Horology Capture.
We appreciate the support and value your feedback. If you have any questions, suggestions, or topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes, please hit us up. We would love to hear from you.
Until next time.